Hey everybody, welcome back. We're here with our guy Russell from Artisan Cutlery. SHOT Show 2024. Always coming with some new products. Tell us you got some awesomeness for us.
We got a lot of new stuff this year. I am pretty stoked. We did a really good job getting some stuff out last year. This year we had to follow up with some new things that really kind of just like punch a bit higher, get a bit more interest going on, and I'm really stoked about what's going on. So
good. All right.
Why don't we start with two released products on the CJRB side?
Okay.
These are out, but they're coming in a special color. We brought them out just for you because I know you like these colors.
I like them.
First, let's start off with the Hectar. This is a nice, solid EDC folder with a crossbar lock. Action is wonderful.
Beautiful.
Nice and snappy. This one actually flicks, which I find is not as common on a crossbar. Actually has good retention, easy to work with, comfortable handle. This guy has a blade at about 3.25 or 3.2-ish. Easy in the hand. Almost a full finger choil. It works for my hands, but I think on average it might be a little small for most. Plenty of jimping. Good, comfortable handle, but I am digging how this fat carbon version turned out.
Looks really good.
I don't know if we're going to be running this in full or we just made some protos like this, but I hope we do because this looks amazing.
Those will be good.
So good looking, like that, like the dark blue, that kind of like cratered look. Oh, it's so hot. But that version of the Hectar is out. We also have the standard version of the Hectar in what people have been calling the Easter colors.
Okay.
We wanted bright, visible colors. If you were taking this out in the woods, you would lose it. And then, of course, along with those, we got the basic black. So those are available now. This one, we'll see this becomes available soon.
Got my vote.
All right, moving on to the next available now product. We have the full dress version of the Mini Pyrite. The Mini Pyrite's been a solid seller so far, and I am very happy with it. But this one is in full contour tie with inset fat carbon. This is the little bougie one. This is excessive and amazing. Also, I believe this one's in S90 for the blade.
Whoa.
Let's see. Sorry, off screen. Yep, S90 blade.
Okay.
So you are getting all the bells and whistles on a tiny, tiny, very versatile little knife. The action is wonderful. The feel in hand is great. All the ties in this little contour. You get that nice shine on the fat carbon. This is if you just really love the Mini Pyrite and you want the best possible version of it. I feel like, personally, I love the aluminum version. I think it hits just right.
The tie feels good, though.
Oh, it's so nice. It just feels so premium. So we have these out. We have this in the blue fat carbon and the red lava flow fat carbon as well.
Nice.
That one is available now. So let's move on to some protos. Starting here, new design and the second design in CJRB by Ray Laconico. This is the Prao. And this is a lot different than the Echo. For one, you have the crossbar lock. This is a much bigger blade. This thing isn't small at all.
Yeah.
It is a big, long blade, but it is a thin blade. This thing is quite trim. And that point, that clip on there is something. Hot dang, it feels so good in hand. Like it's nice and it's a little, for me with my smaller hands, it feels a little big. But it's a big knife. Like it is a wide, long knife.
Looks like what, like 4-inch handle or something?
Yep. Yeah. Possibly a little bigger than that actually, but this is a fantastic user. If you're looking for just a slicer, something that cuts and does it well, the Prao is perfect for that. Really comfortable in the hand, really hand-feeling despite being thin, easy to carry, super light. You can actually see, pop that open, you can actually kind of see in this one, you see the structure on the inside. It's kind of a trussed mill-out pattern.
Yep.
So it's really lightweight, especially with this yellow G10. We also have a few other versions of this as protos. We have a carbon fiber one, fat carbon. We did one, I think Ray has it, but we had a standard G10 one. I like this yellow. I really like this yellow. It's like a Mountain Dew yellow.
Yeah, it looks good. I like it.
I dig it.
Not usually a yellow fan, but that's kind of muted enough.
Yeah, it has character to it without being obscenely grating or looking like Ultem.
Yep.
Ultem. I love it, but also I can't love the color. Anyway, this one, I dig it. That's the Prao. Let's move on to a new designer. This is the Nova, designed by Christian Porterfield. I totally missed that flip. There we go. And this thing is super light. It's one of the few full Tontos we have in our line. We don't have a lot of Tontos these days, but this has a reinforced tip. You see the grind lines there. We want to make sure it was a nice sturdy Tonto. Relatively thin in the blade, but very, very trim in the handle. This thing is light. It is very light. And the wood version is light, but the G10 one is just as light. The action from the studs is great, and because this is such a simple handle, has that nice trim form, it just works well. Like, it is a good user. I love this little spot here with the harpoon. You get your thumb up there. The grip is great, but this is just a simple, well-executed knife with a nice, slightly dramatic Tonto blade. So that's the Nova. That should be coming out sometime soon.
Excellent.
And I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see where this one goes. Christian is new to the industry. This is his first collaboration ever, and I'm excited to see how this hits.
Featuring new ones. I like it.
All right, here we go. Two knives that are kind of new, but kind of not. First of all, everyone's been asking for it. We have the large Wharncliffe Pyrite. You knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. It had to happen. Here it is. I don't know what to say. It is one of the knives that has this knife made our year. The regular size one made our year last year. I cannot think of a knife that I've handled in the last several years that has made me this happy with just the process that went into it and the results that came out of it. Like, I could say it made us a lot of money, but I can also say it put us on the map as one of the companies that does some of the best budget knives out there. And now we finally have a large version with the Wharncliffe blade.
Good.
Yeah, this scale happens to be aluminum, so we're probably going to do the steel version. We might do an aluminum version. We'll see what people ask for, but there will be more versions and there will be bigger versions. So no surprises there, but hey, it's an official announcement now.
Right.
But that's not the only pyrite, and I know some people are like, oh my God, there's too many pyrites. No, we're riding this one into the dirt. They're still selling, we're still making, so now we have a Bowie Pyrite, or the Bowrite, as some people have been calling it. I love it. Also, this color combination. I mean,
yeah, the rose gold's beautiful.
I don't know if we're gonna do this as a full version, but man, tumbled black and rose gold just. But I am digging this. I love the shape of this. I love the fact the fuller flicks. I love the fact the thumb studs do their thing. The action's wonderful. The feeling in hand's great, and you get just a bit more blade, and just the tip of this thing. That is a fine clip point tip. That is just got such a fine point to it. I love the aesthetics of this. I really just am so happy with the way this turned out. So these will hopefully be coming out in the next few months, and we will have more versions of these coming out soon.
That's even got like all the hardware's rose gold.
Yep.
Button lock, everything.
Even the clip. I hope we do one like this.
Beautiful.
Because this just makes me happy.
Yep.
So look for this one coming out soon. And there will be more versions of this in the future, I'm quite sure, because I know there have been people who have been asking for something with a bit more mass in the blade, a bit more interesting, a bit more character, and I can't really deny that fuller just works perfectly. Oh, I love this thing. Man, I am stoked about this. Okay. Final two. And these are coming as a set because this is a new venture for us. We have two micro knives. We have the chip over here and the nap right here. And these things are very small. We want to do something that was really a pack anywhere kind of knife. And I know that we have a lot of lightweight knives. We have a lot of small knives. Now with the mini pyrite and the mica, we have plenty of small folders. So a small fixed blade at this size, where we're looking at almost like a 2-inch total knife or 2.5-inch total, a small diminutive tool that can do a lot of things. The nap with its double edge, that can be used for a variety of things. If you want to take this as a small carry for a backpacking trip, outdoor trip, I have no doubt that Joe Flowers is going to come around and tell me a billion uses for something like this, but it's an arrowhead. It's a little pocketable arrowhead. Comes with a nice little leather sheath. Pops it in there. These are also going to include a little bead and some paracord to give you a little extra something to grab onto. Slides into there. This thing goes nowhere. That can get dropped in a pocket, put in a bag. I think this might actually be the right size to even fit in your wallet.
Oh yeah.
So that's the nap, and now the chip is a little. It feels weird calling it a cleaver, but it's a little cleaver. But I think the shape of this is great for box popping. Just pinch the G10. We had this in a carbon fiber and G10s, and we lit just a little bit of every material to make this. And just this position, just holding here, envelopes, boxes, tape, office jobs, little tiny around the house jobs, things that don't need a huge knife. Honestly, this is something you can throw in your desk drawer at work for when you need a knife and you're really, or if you work a government job you work in a space that is, restricted.
Not going to be super scary to people.
Exactly. Or you just work in a place where you tend to have to wear a suit.
Yep.
You don't want anything messing up your lines. This can go in your back pocket. It's not going to mess up a dang thing.
I like that.
And just a small, affordable tool that it might not be for everyone. Because if you're out on a ranch, I don't think this is going to do much good for you. But for the right person, this is the perfect tool. And
super lightweight too.
It weighs nothing. Like this thing is not. I thought it was a pin the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
I thought we were like, oh cool, we have some new swag. No, this is actually a chunk of RPM 9 milled out and inset with G10. And inside, it's a little slip. Nothing. No one even know it's a knife. Just a little tool, nice, clean case, and something a little bit different from the CJRB side.
I like that. I like that.
All right, so
that's just CJRB so far.
That's just CJRB.
I love it. I love it.
So should we move over to the artisan side?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's adjust that a little bit. Let's go over here. Let's start with something we just released.
Okay.
This one's the newest design by Nick Rogers, and this is the Wade-In. We've been working on this guy for a bit, and this is such an interesting knife. It kind of gives traditional knife vibes without anything traditional about it. Nothing is traditional about that blade. Nothing about that handle. Micromilling on titanium with a time Damascus insert. Sure, not traditional, but there's something that just screams classy about this thing. I love the blade shape. It's thin. It's got this great swedge on it. It's got a nice slicey edge. And I think that the profile of this is different enough to kind of merit some looks without being excessive.
Yeah,
the
handle has some clean lines too with it.
It's really nice, especially you see the backspacer, that slightly raised backspacer, just had a bit more character when you're holding onto it. You feel the angles. And we did a bunch of micromilling on here, micromilling on the clip, and this teardrop shape. There's something very classy about this that I find just wonderful and just. It's cool. It's got a different feel to it than anything I've ever seen. And Nick's got some wild designs. Oh, and we actually redid the front flipper, so it has this kind of S shape. So it's actually really easy to get that. Oh, as I messed the flip. So embarrassing. But the flip is really easy on this one. And for those who aren't used to front flippers, having a top flipper like this is a little hard to do. But the way this is set up and with all the jimping here, just put your thumb on top, slide it across like a Bic lighter, you're good to go. So that's the Wade-In designed by Nick Rogers. That is actually out now. Just got released, I think, like a week or two ago.
Let me get that micro milling.
Yeah, a little shine on there, and that little the dog tooth style shield.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's hot. So that one's available now. But let's move on to the protos.
Okay.
So starting with our boy Dylan Mallory. Oh, this knife has been going for a bit. This is the Ornis, and we have been working on this one with Dylan for a long, long time. There was actually a CJRB proto of this knife years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago, that just did not work right. And now that Dylan's done a little refining of this thing is slick, it is sleek, it is sexy, it is not small.
Yeah.
This has got a full-size blade, a little smudgy on there, sorry. And this nice little swoosh on the handle, the accent pieces on this guy. Maybe we're going to
milled in a bit too. Huh?
Yeah, just a little bit of a cut. We're probably going to do a different clip to kind of match that swoosh line.
Okay.
Dylan wanted a nice simple clip. I think it might be a little too simple, but we got time to change it.
Yeah, it's all good.
Also, we have slightly modified the button to give it a bit more spring, so it's got a bit more of a firm press to it. But I think it does give the knife a bit more detent, and it just has this wonderful clack when it opens.
Sounds good.
And it's light, it's thin. It does, just as all of Dylan's designs do, has that forward momentum that kind of moves it forward. And I think this thing is just fantastic looking. I am so taken with this thing, and it might be the one knife I'd really want to take home if the rest of these weren't so cool. So let's move on to a few more. Let's go. Let's start with the new one from Triple Stripe Designs, Jonathan Shaw at Triple Stripe. This is the Prime, and this one's caught a lot of eyes because starting out, Jonathan does a lot of stuff on boats. He's used to boating, he's used to sailing, and even though he's fairly young, he's got a lot of experience on the open sea. And this has that kind of the same styling, at least, as those old Mariner knives. So the ones with the Marlin spike and the full steel handle. And I like the way that sheepfoot really is like, you're really getting a maximized edge on that. There's a lot of belly, but the scales. This has this beautiful rippled scale pattern.
I like that look.
And this thing is just so cool and so thin. Also, love the clip. I am a huge fan of his clip style. I like how it sits in pocket. You barely feel it in hand. And of course, that little notch up there just feels really good. You're just applying pressure into the cut. And while this knife has all those, has like a robust blade, it's got all those things, it's not really that big. Like, it's not what I call a small knife, but it isn't really huge. The studs are great. Action's great. I'm really into this. So that is the Prime designed by Jonathan Shaw at Triple Stripe. And then, oh boy, this is the one I have the custom, so I may be biased, but this is the Rebel designed by Ray Laconico. As Ray has been doing, he names his knives after various Winnebago motorhomes. So the Rebel is a knife that I was drawn to very early on, and I had to get myself a custom one. And Ray has been kind enough to say, yeah, sure, let's make it with ours. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So down. I love the shape of this thing. It's got that high clip point similar to the Prado, but with a slight different profile. The handle just melts. It melts perfectly into the hand. The clip is simple but poignant. The jimping on the back here is just right. And it's got this fine tip. Like, this thing is a slicer, and it's an elegant slicer. There's something that is so well designed about this. It's Ray. I can't put my finger on it.
Good stuff.
But man, the guy knows how to make a knife. It's always a joy working with him, and just
titanium handles.
Oh yeah. First time doing this dark tie finish too. We're gonna see how that works out. I love it. I absolutely love it. So we'll see what other people think. So far, people have been pretty happy with this kind of like dark gray tie. And then we have a stonewash version, but we'll see what Ray thinks. I got to get these protos to him right after the show. Got to meet up with him for lunch and talk knives. So that is the Revel, and I'm hot on this one. It's great, but of course we got to have something a little bit more on the tactical side. So we got to call our buddy Dirk Pinkerton over and do what we got to do here. This is the Kami, and this is his take on a folding kukri. And you know, while it's not as big as what I think of for kukri, this thing has some motion to it. I feel like this really wants to just move forward. Just really sits in the hand really nicely. It really kind of locks you in with those two sides there.
Too.
Yeah, the jimping is perfect. The thumb just stays here and you are good. And just that slight recurve feels like there's a lot more to it, because as you lock in, you kind of push the knife forward. And it feels like you're kind of, like the blade is more forward than it really is in the hand. I don't know, that man can make handles. Like, his ergonomic sense is insane. And while this thing looks like it might be like, all right, just a more slabby knife, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
My whole team's laughing behind me. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they're having
Anyway, Dirk does one hell of a knife. And the Kami is this just slicey. Like, it feels like it wants to drink something. Like, this thing is, this thing's a little scary, but I am so happy with it. Dirk got his prototypes a little earlier. He's really stoked about them. And we might be doing a few changes to kind of make the flipper a little bit smaller, add a bit more utility to it, but I am so happy with this.
Carbon fiber, got some accents on there.
Yeah, carbon fiber, or you might do full tie, you might do both. We have a version there that's got some fat carbon on it. Nice. So it's, we'll see what the configuration is, but right now the blade is set and the shape is set, and I am excited to see what people say about this one.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, Russell, thanks for taking us through what's new.
Heck yeah.
I guess we'll look forward to seeing some of these here in the next 6 months.
Yep.
At all your favorite dealers.
A lot of these sooner than that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time.
Heck yeah, it was wonderful having you here.